Hello, this is Easy, and I'm doing a little update here, and I'm using version 2.93. Alright, as I go through the video here, I will be pausing it to kind of speed things up, and it'll be less file size. Okay, with this said, they do upgrade their versions, and I'm going to go over a few things that's got changed and a few things that's got added. Now sometimes when they add a version, sometimes they don't update the document. So I'm going to give you everything that I know off the top of my head. I might not be 100% accurate, but I will get close as I can. Alright, with that said, if we go to the File tab here and we go to Open, we have this one called Garment. This used to be called Cloth. If I was to select this and open a garment, it will replace everything where the avatar is at right here in the cloth. The cloth will be overwritten and removed, and the new one will be in place. Now we got add garment, which is like merge. If I was to add this, add a garment, and we'll select here, it's going to add to it without removing what I've already have. Okay, we're going to go to the Settings tab and Preferences here. And this is where you're allowed to change your hotkeys, alright, and toggle things on and off. As an example, the garment info has no hotkeys, so you just click it, then you hold your hotkeys down that you want to use. I want to do Control F. That's going to bring up the garment file information under the File menu right here. Close that, and that will be this one right here. As you can see now, it shows Control F. This gives you information on the garment of who designed it. It's embedded in the file here. So if I was to press the hotkey Control F, it brings it up. If we want to put everything back at default, what we'll do is just press Restore Default shortcut keys here. Now if we scroll down the list down here, we got little check marks here. Alright, this lets you toggle things on and off. As right here, I can toggle on or off synchronize, this little icon right here. So when it starts up, it'll always be on. Alright, if it's unchecked and when I start the program up, it'll be off. And another thing is, when you set these toggles here, the only way to switch them back is to uncheck them or check them, because if you press Restore shortcut keys, these are actually not shortcuts, these are the toggle keys, so these will not change. So you need to manually change these by hand. See, nothing happened when I click it. When I put the check mark back in there, I click it, nothing happens. It only works for the shortcut hotkeys for the default ones. And let's scroll down the list here and let's take a look at some other stuff down here. As we got this zoom extend all. Now it's got this little bracket. It's up on the keyboard. It's under the 0. So you make sure that you hold the shift key when you use this, or you'll end up pressing a different hotkey more than likely. So if I was to press 0, that's what's going to happen. So that's what extend all does. Is if this is the patterns over here, then I'll hold the shift and the 0 key. That, you know, zooms it in where I can see it, puts it in view. If you right click here, you can see this option right here with a little bracket. And if we go back, since I changed the hotkeys back to default, you can see there's no name at, or the hotkey at the end of the text here. As again, I'll change that to show you one more time. And we'll go to the garment info. Let's do a different one here. Let's try Shift H. Okay. And when we go back here, it should show Shift H, and there it is. Alright, this little icon right here called Show Garment used to be cloth. If we move our cursor a little bit to the right of it, there's this little blue arrow here. If we select it and we go down to Render Style and we go down to Strain Map, we got this little graph now. This indicates how the cloth is fitting. You can read the PDF. Which colors will show which is fitting tight, which is fitting loosely, and kind of give you a visualize of how the cloth is fitting on the avatar. And we'll switch that back off to textured surface. Okay, I'm going to go over to the toolbar here, and I'm using a large screen resolution. Mine are all laid out straight across. Gives me plenty of room. If you don't have a large screen resolution, these will bunch up and fold out, or they used to. Anyway, if you need to make more room and more visible, if you hover your cursor, there's these little dots, or like little beveled dots, and your cursor will change when you hover your cursor over that area, like right here and right here. So if I wanted to change this, I'll just hold the left mouse button down and drag where I want to change it. I can select it here. Gives me a little bit more room to play with. And put it right here, and I can have two layers right here. Very good for customization in your UI. And you can also do it over here if you want to. You can also move these around here by just dragging these around wherever you want. Let's do one right about here. We'll bring that back. And you can also slide these right here. As you can see, if now I have a menu like that where they fold out. So I need to bring this back a little bit so you can see how that works like that. Alright, in this next step we're going to do unfold. I'm going to right click here. I'm going to activate this grid. It's going to allow me to do a little bit of snapping. And I'm going to select this create polygon right here, and what I'll do is I'll start somewhere in the halfway mark, and I got the grid on here. It'll help me snap directly where the crosshairs are at, and I'll select here and straight across. Now I'm going to use the control key to give a little curvature right about here. I'm going to click. I'm going to let go of the control key to make a straight line down to here, and click here, and I'll do one more click here, hold the control key to give a little bit more curvature, and I'll come across here and click, and come straight up here and click. Turn synchronize on, and we're going to go into edit pattern mode because we're going to use unfold, and that is under the pattern menu here. We come across and we got this option down here called unfold. That's Control F. Alright, this works when the pattern is selected. Okay, if the pattern is not selected, it will not work. So that means if I deselect off here, it's not going to work. It needs to be selected, and what you do is you hover your cursor over an edge. Alright, you don't click the edge, you just hover your cursor over it like that, and when it's highlighted you press Control F. Now what that's going to do is going to mirror it and weld it into one piece. Okay, and now I can take this little point here and bring it down like this if I wanted to. If I want to delete a point, I can select a point down here. I can hit the delete key or the backspace, or right click this and delete that point. As you can see, it is one pattern. I could do that if I wanted to. because you can always bunch these up and flip them around like this. Don't see any use in it, but if you ever decide that you want to do it, then you can. Let's say that this is off a little bit and you was messing with it later and you messed it off the halfway mark, and you want to line this back kind of like what it was. You got two choices. You can go around and select all the points, or you can select some of these edges. Alright, we'll select this one here. Turns red. We're going to hold the shift key, select here, and we're going to select all the way around it. I like using the edges because I don't have to do every point. Alright, so I'll select here and move my way around. And the last one, I will select this point. I am holding the shift key while I'm going around and selecting everything. And then I'm going to let go of the shift key, then I'll be able to move this whole thing and put it back center where I want it at. And everything's back in the center. Alright, we're going to go ahead and save this shirt here. We're going to go to the File menu here, and we're going to go Save As. Okay, under Save As, then Garment. Alright, I'll name this 5 shirt. Alright, we only need to do this once, and if we edit this pattern or add to it, let's say I was to do a little bit of change right here, then what I'll do is just press File menu, then just Save Garment. When I select it, it acts like nothing happened. It actually saved it just like it was right here. Let's Control Z that and bring it back, and I want to save it kind of like what it was, so I need to come back here and just press Save Garment. Alright, and before you shut the program down, make sure that you save it. Okay, and remember, all you need to do is one time is press Save As, and anything after that, just press Save Garment. And once you save the garment and give it a name, it'll have the text on top of the UI. You can't see it in the screen recording, but the name will change, and it'll say the name at the top of the UI with .pack. And if you shut the program down and restart it, again, you'll have to go Save As for one. You'll need to do it one time, then anything after that, just Save Garment. Because actually when you press Save Garment, it actually overwrites every time that you make new changes in Save Garment. We're going to go over this option here called Add Anchor Point. On the previous version, the only way that you could add an anchor point was to an edge that had curvature to it. If it had a straight edge like down here, it would not allow you to add an anchor point. And when you add one, which you can now, it turns it into a 3-point curve, which would be this one right here. So if I was in edit pattern mode and pull on it, it will have some curvature to it. Now if I want to convert this back to a straight edge, we'll add a point and select it. Now they're back to straight edge right here. Let's add a 3-point curve right here. And we can also, these are the areas right here, these little orange dots right here, where you pull on it and adjust it. Now if I was to add a point right here, you can see how it breaks them apart and turns them to a straight edge. But I still have my curvature where the orange ones are at. Orange ones will indicate and show you which ones are 3-point curves, and the white ones will show you which ones are the straight ones. And if I wanted to just say right here in the neck area, I want it to go straight across, just add a point on each side of it, edit pattern mode, select the middle point, press the delete key. Okay, I have a flag loaded up here, Let's zoom this here a little bit. And when I select the flag here, you'll notice there's a blue little dot. It's right here where my cursor's at, and also here in the pattern window. This is good to find out if you got problem areas. Sometimes you need to point out your problem area over here in this window here, and let's say I have an internal polyline right here, and I got a bunch of stuff going over here, a lot of patterns, and I kind of don't know what's going on. Well, I'll click over here. It's going to mark me in this area where I think there's going to be a problem. Then I'll come over here, and this will indicate this blue marker where I can start working on my problem area. And another thing is, we're going to turn the simulation on. Alright, previous version, you used to have to press the Q key down to move the cloth. Alright, in this version here, you don't have to press any keys, but hold the left mouse button down and click and drag. And that's the way if you want to move the cloth without pressing any hotkeys. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and right click, and we're going to go down to wind, and we're going to activate the wind. Alright, and we're going to right click again and show wind. This little cone right here. And I already been messing with it earlier, so I got the wind's property. If you don't have it, right click and you can go to wind and wind's properties. Then you have these properties over here. Now the way this cone works here is the way it's pointing. If I point it back like this, the flag will start blowing backwards. Alright, if I bring it towards me, it's going to start blowing towards me. Now these settings here are very easy to understand, and it would be unnecessary for me to go over, because the more you tinker with it, the better you'll understand it. You can change the cone to a spherical here, and you can see how things change as you are adjusting these settings. And this only works when the simulation is on. Okay, I'm going to be going over the Gizmo. Alright, we go to environment, and we got the Gizmo here. Alright, we got different coordinates for it. Alright, and there's always more than one way of selecting certain items. You can select the Gizmo here, or you can select the Gizmo by right clicking and going down here. Now by default it's set at screen coordinates. If I was to select here, keep an eye on the red arrow. Okay, this is the x-axis. If it's pointing to the right, you can move it to the right or to the left. Okay, we got the green one, it goes up. Well, if it can do the opposite. So if it goes up, it can go down. And we got this blue one here. If it goes forward, then the opposite would be backwards. Alright, now when I rotate, I'm going to right click. Notice the red arrow is always going to be facing to the right. Alright, and all the arrows are going to be staying the same direction. Alright, now this could come in handy in some ways it might not. So if I was to tip this a little bit and try dragging it forward, I could throw a lot of things out of whack there. Alright, so now if I'm straight ahead, now you can see the whole pattern kind of moved when it was supposed to be kind of centered. Alright, and I'll do that one more time. If I was to tip it a little bit and thought I was going to drag it straight forward, let's look at it straight again. Now it's set off to the right. So to correct that, you can set that into the preferences. So if we go to the preference here, and we'll scroll down till we see Gizmo here. Okay, we got it's already set at this one here at the screen coordinates. We're going to switch this one to the loco. Alright, and we're going to close this. Now when I turn it, notice the red arrow is going to follow towards me. So now when I turn it and I go front to back, it's always going to stay in the center. I'm not going to lose the center. It's not going to be offset. Alright. Personally, I don't know what the difference between the world and loco. They seem to do the same thing. Alright, and another thing is we got this little box. Alright, let's drag this out here. And you can see this little box right here, okay? These are the little planes. This is this one right here. If I select this little purple one, look at the two colors on where it's at. We got the blue one over to the left, and we got the red one, alright? So I can move in two axes. I can move front to back and also left to right. If I select here, I can go around in circles around this. Alright, we'll just bring that back here. Now if I select this box here, it turns yellow. Now look at the two coordinates axes that's in between it. We got the yellow one and the red one. That means I can go up and down and left and right. Alright, so I can go like this. And the same way with this one here. We got front to back and up and down, so we can go like this. Alright, I'm going to show you a correct way to apply the cloth or garment to the avatar. Every time that you lay out a pattern over here in this avatar window, the polygons are facing towards you. The polygons have a front side and a back side. If we turn this around, the darkness will indicate this is the back side. And we always want the they call normals facing towards you or outwards. Alright, so the first one here in the front is facing towards me, but if I move this one to the back here, and we'll turn it around, when I turn it all the way around, we got this dark spot. We want we want this the lights facing towards me. We want all the normals facing outwards. So we'll right click this, flip horizontally. Alright, that is the correct way to do it. Alright, now it's not, you don't have to do it. The only difference is it's changes up the directions of the way that you sew these two patterns together. Alright, simple enough. And if you really want to correct that without having to right click every time and flip horizontally, you can use these show arrangement points. Alright, and this will correct it. So if I select this one here, I'll select here, and it's facing outwards. Now this one right here, remember, if I move it to the back, it's going to be incorrect, but since I'm using this option right here, arrangement points, it'll correct itself. Alright, now it's facing outwards. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that to your attention to make sure that it's done correctly, because sometimes if you import this into another application, you might have a little bit of problems of your normal showing correctly when you render it, or just bringing it into the application and it's not showing correctly. Okay, we're going to go over this option here. It's right close to the show avatar, this little triangle, and it's called show X-ray joints. Right. The thing not to do right now is to select it and move it. Alright, we're going to go into a correct view here, and we're going to turn on the simulation. Then we're going to move it, and we're going to select here. Then you'll be able to rotate your avatar. Alright, now this does not work on OBJs, and you need to have joints for this to work. And I'll just do another one here real quick. you can save and load poses like this also. So what you do is just stop simulation, and I'm just going to go ahead and turn that back off. Then you can go ahead and file. Then you can go ahead and save your pose. If you wanted to save a pose. Alright, we're going to go to the settings tab, and we're going to the graphics option. This graphic option here is the same thing you get when you start your program up. And we got the anti-aliasing here, and what this does, if it's off and you save this image of this avatar, the outer edge is going to be pretty jagged. The more you increase it, the smoother it's going to get. If I change it now, it's going to ask me to restart the program and for it to affect. Okay, so if I was going to the window and avatar right here, avatar window screen capture, where it says F10, this will screen capture this right here, what you see here in the avatar. Alright, another thing is if we right click and we go down and change the color. Alright, we're going to change the color of the background. Alright, press OK, and nothing changes because that's actually an image that we need to remove out of the back. So we need to turn the show background image off, and there's the color. If we right click again, we can change the color. And we're going to right click again, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to change the color again, but this time I'm going to leave the background color, and it's got this called the alpha channel. If the alpha channel is set to 0, that sets the transparency, and there will not be any background. Okay, when you save that, when you save this to the avatar window screen capture, it will remove the green background. Another thing is this turn on the show shadow. The problem is, well, actually it's not a problem. If it's a green background, what's going to happen, the shadow here is going to be green. Alright, what you're going to see is you're going to end up seeing the avatar, then you're going to see a green shadow. So if you want a transparency background, the best thing to do is go to change background color, and we'll turn this to a black or something really dark. Alright, you're still going to see the shadow. Alright, let's go ahead and let's just capture this. Let's name this test. Alright, save it. Alright, now I'm going to show you that image by just go ahead and go to the window, and I'm going to press save again anyway. There's the test. We'll right click here and preview it. As you can see, there is, it does not have any background, it just has the shadow. And as an example, if I was to show you again, so change the color, and we're going to just turn this to dark green, and we're going to resave that, call this green, and you'll see that the shadow will be green. So let's go ahead and window, and we'll right click here and preview that. It's a little bit green, probably can't see it really good in the video, so let me just try one more here. Just change that to maybe a red will probably work. Window, and call this red. Let's preview that. And there you can see it right there. So make sure, if you don't want the shadow to have color to it, is to change the background color. to something dark or black. Black seems to work pretty good, so I'm gonna do it one more time. Call some dark. I'll preview that, and